Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a review on a brand new limited edition palette. It is by Hourglass and it is their ambient lighting edit palette. I've heard so many people talking about this on Instagram and YouTube, and a lot of the feedback isn't very positive. So I figured I would come on here, share with all of you my thoughts and my opinions. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I have to give a huge shout out to Mihail because he did buy this palette for me. He actually asked me to say, you better say it's a sponsored video by me because you know I bought the palette. But thank you, Mihail, very much. I really appreciate it. I bought this off of Sephora's website. It was $80, and when I picked it up, only VIBs and VIB Rouges could pick it up. Now it looks like anybody can purchase this, which is really good. So the packaging is really simple and sleek. I really like it. It's a taupey kind of bronzy finish. It's very like shiny. All of my fingerprints are all over here, but it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. And it's actually very good for traveling. You can just slip this in your makeup bag, and it's nice and sleek. On the back, you have all the names of the powders, which is very helpful. And then on the inside, you have your 6 powders, which are so pretty, and then a pretty good sized mirror. So the palette comes with 3 of their ambient lighting powders. It comes with 2 of their blushes and then the bronzer that they kind of recently come out with. For the ambient lighting powders, the first one right here is Diffused Light, which is a beautiful light beigey shade. This is good if you don't want a ton of brightness, you just want a little bit of glow because it's more of that skin tone shade. So this is going to give you just a really pretty glow. And then the middle shade, which is called Iridescent Light, which I believe it's exclusive to this palette. This is a light pinky rose color. It's beautiful. It does have, in my opinion, a little bit more shimmer, I feel like, than the other two. So I don't wear this as often, but it's still really pretty, especially if you're going to wear it at night. And then the last ambient lighting powder you get is called Dim Light, which is a beautiful light yellow shade, which is great for lightening and then also giving that really pretty glow. So now moving on to the second line where the blushes and bronzer are. For the bronzer, it is Bronze Luminous Light, which is a really pretty light, very warm shade. I have it on today, and because I'm so pale, if I put too much of this on, it's going to look too orange. But I just did a little bit of it, and it looks beautiful. With these shades, and actually with all of them, they just look like skin. They don't look like powder, which I really, really like. The middle shade is a gorgeous blush. It's called Luminous Finish, which is more on the corally, peachy pink side. It is so pretty. I'm actually wearing this today as well, and it gives a beautiful glow, adds a little bit of color, and it's just a perfect blush if you want to do like a warm tone look. And then lastly, you have the last blush, which is Mood Exposure, which is definitely more on the mauve-y rose tone side. This is great if you're doing like a light kind of cool toned look. It would be perfect for that. So like I touched on a little bit earlier, all of these powders are very light. They're meant to add a very natural glow, and they're also supposed to brighten a little bit. These powders look like your skin. It doesn't look powdery, it doesn't look chalky, it just blends into the skin beautifully. And I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I don't have any Hourglass face products. I only have their eyeshadow palette. So when this palette came out, I really wanted it because it gave me a chance to try out their powders, it gave me a chance to try out their blushes and the bronzer, and it's all in one palette. If I were to buy an individual bronzer, an individual lighting powder, and an individual blush, it would have costed me so much more than $80. Now obviously each powder in here is a lot smaller than the regular original ones that you can get all year round. Each one of these is 0.049 ounces, while the regular ones come with 0.15 ounces of product. So I understand why people are freaking out. Now the ambient powders are $45 each and the blushes are $35. So I buy 2 products, yes I get more product, but it's already $80. With this palette I'm getting 3 powders, 2 of the blushes, and 1 bronzer. I get a lot more to work with, and it's $80. And in my opinion, this is a great deal. And I know a lot of people are saying, no, it's not, you get so little product. But it's a good little sampler palette for me because I've never tried the powders before. And to be honest, I don't go through blushes very often. I do go through bronzers pretty quickly, but because this is so warm and I'm so pale, I only use a little bit of this. So I don't think I'm going to go through this very quickly at all. The only ones that I could see myself going through more frequently are the dim light powders. I might go through this quickly, but at the same time, like, it's not, I'm gonna have this for at least a year just like this. And with that said, I think it's totally worth it. Now, if you already own these ambient lighting powders, then obviously this is not gonna be worth it because you already own the regular versions of it. You don't need this palette. So at the end of the day, I think this is a great palette. The powders are very pretty. Like, this is a palette that I would want on my face when I'm gonna get married because it's so beautiful, it's so glowy, it's so brightening. It's a perfect like wedding palette, to be totally honest. But I mean, if you don't have any Hourglass face products, I think this is a palette that you should invest in. Now, I do have to say with the ambient lighting powders, I use these to set my concealer underneath my eye and my forehead and my chin. Now, because these don't actually add coverage, which is what I'm used to using like a pressed powder where it brightens, it adds a little bit of coverage, and it's more on the matte side. These are totally opposite. So if you're gonna use these to set your concealer, you want to use a very heavy duty concealer because these powders aren't going to add extra coverage. They're just going to set your concealer, it's going to add a little bit of a glow, and if you're using this one and this one, it's going to brighten up underneath. So make sure you're using a pretty good heavy duty concealer, because if you're going to put this on top of just like a regular everyday concealer, it might enhance the purple or the red underneath your eyes because it's not adding coverage. So that's the only kind of tip that I want to recommend, but all of these powders are very, very glowy. So if you have oily skin and you don't like the glowy look, you're not gonna like this palette, and to be honest, you're really not gonna like the ambient lighting powders or the blushes or the bronzers because they're all very glowy. If you do have oily skin and you do like the glow, then hey, I would definitely try this out. I also don't really have any makeup products that give this effect other than that Makeup Forever Bronze Fusion powder. I've mentioned it before, but this bronzer, it doesn't look like this is like a powdered bronzer. It just looks very natural and like as if it's your skin, which is the same effect that I get from these products. I've been dying to try out this powder right here and also one of their blushes, and already just by getting those two things, I'm at the same price of the palette. And with the palette, I get two more powders to try and their bronzer, which is gorgeous. So that's all that I'm going to say in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I forgot anything, I will leave it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!